how to furnish your Airbnb. Are you wondering what furniture you should be buying, or even what stores you should be in? What should you get and what should you not get? How much should you spend? Oh my gosh, so many questions, and I have the answer, and I'm gonna share it with you. Let's go. Airbnb as a business and as a person that hosts on Airbnb can be very profitable. In fact, it was one of the life-changing things for me when I went from having a bunch of rental properties to realizing that I did not have to own or even have as many properties as I used to in order to make the same amount of money. Airbnb is a website where hosts, people like me that have properties that we want to put out there to have people stay in, can book them on the site for free. Airbnb allows us to list the properties up there for free. They don't charge us anything. And millions of people are on Airbnb looking for properties that they can stay in, either for travel, for business, for vacation. In fact, some people actually use Airbnbs and stay at them for many months when they are relocating to a new city, for example. So there is tons of opportunity, and the great thing about it is Airbnb and sites like Airbnb, they're not the only game in town. HomeAway, VRBO, things like that. There's tons of websites where you can just put your property up there and people can book them, and they don't necessarily charge you money, but you charge per night for those properties. So now that you understand that part, let me tell you how you can get in on this. So when we're talking about furnishing the Airbnb, we find properties that are vacant, either are in apartment complexes that have a really high vacancy rate and they're willing to allow us to do our business model there, or we find private sellers that'll give us permission to do it and we guarantee them the rent, okay? So I made a whole video about that. I'm not gonna get into how you acquire the properties. Please check that video out if you do not know how to do that. I made it for free for you. So now once we have the properties, we gotta furnish them, and we need to furnish them quickly, on a budget, with quality things, okay? That's kind of important. So the first things that you wanna do when we're talking about furnishing them is you don't have to have a lot of furniture. You're looking around at an actual Airbnb, okay? This is literally in one of our Airbnbs, and you can see there's not a ton of furniture in the living room. You don't have to just have furniture everywhere and paintings everywhere. You need a nice couch that's sturdy. In some cases, you may want a sofa bed so that you can sleep more people. You want to go to stores, but possibly you can get that on credit. Okay, there's tons of furniture places that will allow you to not make any payments for 6 months or a year, and you can furnish the place and start making money before you ever have to actually start making payments on the furniture. The second thing that you're gonna need, in every master bedroom, again, you're competing with hotels. You're not competing against other people's Airbnbs. We're basically in the Airbnb business, and how we make so much money is we compete with hotels and we just take a couple of their nights. Well, in most hotels, what do they have as the bed? If you're in a bedroom, it doesn't have a small twin bed or 3 twin beds or anything like that. It has a master with a king bed in it. So the importance of why I'm saying this is it doesn't have to be very expensive. You don't have to get those lavish beds. You probably don't even want to do that. It's super important that when you're furnishing your Airbnb that you get a good quality mattress with a firm or medium firm type of mattress. Do not buy pillow top mattresses. Do not buy Tempur-Pedic and all those expensive mattresses. You just want a quality mattress that's going to last, and you want to make sure you get a mattress cover for that mattress. Those are going to be the most important things to furnish the place. Of course, you're going to have to get towels, knives, forks, and some other things that I'll get to in just a second. But the furniture is really simple. Living room furniture, bedroom furniture, and televisions. That's the things that you'll spend the most money on, and the rest of the stuff, I'll tell you how we can get on a budget. So now that we have the major things kind of pointed out, the next area that you want to make sure that you have, and it is important, is of course appliances. You want your property to have a washer and dryer, a refrigerator, a stove, an oven, you know, things like that. And that's one of the reasons why we like properties that a seller or a private landlord or an apartment complex already has for us. And then you will just spend minimal amounts of money on smaller appliances like a toaster, a coffee maker, a blender. And again, some of these are not required. You really want to look at the market that you're in, but you just want to think, okay, what does a hotel have and what might a family need if they were cooking? Those are kind of the important things. What you stock the kitchen with is going to be important for those 5-star ratings. People want to save money by doing an Airbnb. So let me give you a big secret. People prefer the short-term rentals that people own more than hotels. And the reason for that is because they can save money. Usually you can get a hotel room for about $100 a night, $120 a night. You can get the whole house or the whole apartment for that same thing on Airbnb. And the great thing about it is you have a fully stocked kitchen. So now you don't have to eat out at restaurants all the time. You can buy groceries and put them in the refrigerator. It's a full-size refrigerator, not like those little, motel suites and things like that. It's comfortable and people can spread out so they can save money. So make sure that they have the things that they need to cook, okay? Because that's how they're saving money. And that's what you want to make sure that you put in your property so that they can do that. A great thing that I want to tell you that you want to make sure that you're doing, if you have multiple rooms, you want to maximize the number of people that the property sleeps. So this is beds, guys. This is bedding that I'm talking about. I'm saying if you have a 1-bedroom apartment, you're gonna have to put that king bed in there. Please do not put 3 twin beds or bunk beds or anything crazy like that. But if you have 2 bedrooms, for example, you'll put a king bed in one of those bedrooms, and then the other bedrooms, you could put twin beds or king queen beds or something like that to maximize the number of people that the property sleeps. Another trick that I was telling you was getting a sofa couch. So instead of just having a regular sofa, spend that extra $100 to make sure that you have a sleeper sofa with a bed so that you can sleep 2 or 3 more people. And then you can add to the property roll-away beds and air mattresses, things like that, that the people can pull out and again, sleep more people so that you can increase your price. So I have created an entire course teaching you everything that you need to know on how to have an Airbnb business without owning any properties and make 6 figures in a short amount of time. I have tons of students that have already taken it and they are loving the information, and it comes with all of my contracts, all of my scripts, all of the templates, things that you need not only to acquire the property, but everything to get the properties and then furnish them on a budget, and then also put your listings together so that you have an entire Airbnb business. Go to bnbriches.com to find out, get more information. Go ahead and purchase that, and you can get that whole course at a very affordable price. This is Noelle, to your success.